everyone and welcome back. So today we are going to be doing a little sewing lesson. So I'm going to be making one of these little tea wallets. They're just one tea bag. I think you probably fit a set increment in there, but this is just a little pattern that I made many years ago. And I thought I would show you all how to make these. So first we're going to get some little blocks of fabric. These are cut to 4 inches across and then 4 inches across here as well. And we're going to want 2 matching and then one that is a little bit of a different print. So I'm going to be using this heart and then this flower, which is pink and orange. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to take this one and you're going to fold it over just a little bit on this side. So you're going to have a little piece there. I can measure that and see it's an inch. So we have an inch thick here, and then it's just going to go like, so I can see that just like that. So you're going to want an inch down here. And this is the same size as these pieces, which are 4 by 4. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to sew a little bit right here along there. I will try to get the width of how far we're actually going to sew it. Yeah, we will show you that in just a second. Okay, so now we're at the sewing machine, and I don't know if you guys can see where I've got it lined up, but I've got to like right here in the little gaps down there in the sewing machine. And so we're going to start sewing. We're just going to begin sewing here. Let's see here. It's my mom's sewing machine, so I have to. So we're going to back stitch, and then we are just going. Sometimes it tries to do that to you. So it's kind of annoying, but anyways, we're going to get back on there, and we're just going to start sewing, do a little back stitch, and then sew it all the way down right there, do another back stitch, and then cut it off there. Okay, and then we're going to take this, I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit here, and we're going to take this fabric here, and we'll put this one right here. I'll line it up like that. And then we'll take the top one. Make sure it's lined up correctly there. Okay. And then you're going to take the top one and you're going to lay that down on top of that. And then I'm going to take some pins. I don't always use pins, but for this I will use some pins. And then we're going to pin it in place. You want to make sure you have all 3 there. And we're just going to pin on each side. So we're just going to pin it like this the whole way around. Okay. And now we're going to take it back to the sewing machine. And we're going to leave a gap about 2 inches. So I'm going to move this up a little bit further because we're going to leave about 2-inch gap so we can turn it inside right. Now I'm going to line this up to the edge. My fabric is on the edge of the foot of the sewing machine. I'm just going to start with the back stitch. So turn the work, sew it down all the way. Turn it, sew it down, going to turn the work again, turn one last time. We're going to sew a little ways, do a back stitch, and then we're going to cut the threads. And now we're going to turn our project. So we're going to just turn this. And you want to make sure when you turn it that you have the outside of this part showing. And then we're going to push out the corners. Sometimes it's easier if you have something to push out the corners. So sometimes I use a pair of scissors. Today I'm just using my finger. Then you're going to fold down the edge there into the inside. And now we are going to sew a straight line all the way around. So we're just going to take this to the sewing machine, and we're just going to put it, let's see if you can see how far I have it. There's just a little tiny gap right there. And then we're just going to sew a back stitch and then just sew that down. Just like this. We're just going to sew that. All the way around. I'm going to try to keep it about the same width the whole way. I'm not always the best at keeping my lines perfectly straight. Back stitch and then cut your threads just like before. See if I can actually do this. Get those off, and then you have this little tea bag pouch, and you'll just stick your tea bag in there, and that is how it looks when it is finished. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.